Hello chess lovers, Soren here, and in today's video I want to share with you the 11th game of 1978 Tal vs Kasparov friendly Blitz match. Up to this point we have an equality, both players have 5 points. Unlike some games covered earlier from this match, this one is of a better quality, and please stay tuned and let's enjoy the game together. So in this game, Tal had white pieces and he opened up with e4, to which Kasparov answered with c5. Sicilian defense is on the board, and in this game Tal chose the closed variation. We don't see d4 advance. Yeah, Tal decided to keep the game in the closed variations, which requires less theoretical knowledge and can be a nice surprise weapon. Knight g5, white is opening up the f pawn's path. h6, although playing d5 is also possible, that's a nice alternative, but Kasparov decided to kick away the knight, and h6 is actually somewhat weakening the king side. Nowadays, against this type of a setup, Black is usually fianchettoing the king side bishop, is putting the knight on e7, and is going for a queen side pawn push. The fianchettoed bishop is supporting that advance, but we see a different setup by Kasparov, which is of course not that venomous than the setup mentioned earlier. So Black wants to go for, yes, that standard b5, b4 stuff, but the interesting thing is that in this game we will never see it. f4 is on the board, knight d4, g4. Yeah, Tal is playing very aggressively. Now he wants to go for g5, and by playing knight h7, Black took under control the g5 square, although b5 is a pretty nice alternative. You could allow g5. So knight h7 is on the board, and it may seem that the g5 square is successfully guarded, but Tal is Tal. He is a very aggressive player and he decided to go for it. g5 is on the board. He's going for a pawn sacrifice, but is managing to open up, for example, the f path, the rook's path, the queen's path, and is getting nice attacking chances. Although I have to tell you that at this point Black has a huge advantage. Stockfish almost gives Black -3 advantage. But from Black's side, an utmost precision is required to hold this position, of course. Bishop takes c1 was Kasparov's next move, although keeping the dark squared bishop alive and playing bishop f6 is also good. The bishop can solidify the king side a lot. The exchange on c1 followed, e5, which is allowing white knight to occupy a very nice outpost. f6, c3, knight e6, rook f3. Let me tell you that this e5, f6 is really not good. Playing f6 straight away is even better, but in the game we see e5. Yeah, Black is surrendering this d5 square and now will pay a high price for it. Rook f3. From the third rank, Tal is switching his rook into the attack. Bishop e6, queen e8 is an alternative and maybe is even better. h4, bishop f7, queen e2, knight e6. Well, knight e6 is not good. It's better to play knight h7. The knight from there can successfully guard Black king. Instead we see knight e6. There comes the rook, king h8, bishop h3. Tal is activating all his pieces. Knight f4. Yeah, finally Kasparov decided to give back a pawn. And at this point white is totally dominating the position, you know. Queen e7 and bishop f5 followed. I have to tell you that at this point white has almost +5 advantage. Yeah, huge advantage is on white's side. Queen e5, queen g4. In here Tal is missing a very nice line starting with rook g4. If bishop h5, then rook g2 first. Yeah, this is important. If you go for rook g7 straight away, then Black has this queen g3 move and then bishop e2. just play rook g2, and only then you can go for rook takes g7, and this is winning. Yes, the queen is untouchable because of the checkmate. If here, then simply queen e3, and again white is winning. Instead, Tal played queen g4, but still an advantage is on white side. Rook g8, there was a mating threat, h5 d5, queen h4, playing bishop g6 is better. Instead we see queen h4, and now gradually Black is starting to fight back, is managing to prolong the resistance. h6, yeah, it may seem that white's attack is unstoppable, but it turns out that with the precise defense, Black can equalize, Black can keep the balance. It was in here that queen e3 check was made by Kasparov, which is losing. Yeah, first let's go through the game, and then I will show you how in here Black can save the position. Kasparov played queen e3 check, to which Tal answered with king g2, king h7, and at this point you can give a try to finish up Black king. I think that that's very simple, and h takes g7 check just asks itself to be played. Tal is sacrificing his rook and is managing to kill the enemy king. At this point resignation followed. If king h7, then rook h4 check followed by a checkmate. But now let's go back to move 33, where a queen e3 mistake was made. So at this point it turns out that the best defensive move is king h7, attacking white rook, and h takes g7 doesn't work because Black will win this rook, and the f6 square is successfully guarded by the queen. Now if, for example, rook g4, then rook e8, if check, then king g8. If rook e4, then d2. Yeah, d2 is the move which is saving Black. By the way, if you win the pawn on e4, then already the f6 square is no longer protected, and here is how white can win. Yeah, it's over, white is winning. That's why after rook e4 you should play d2, give up your queen and instead go for another queen, and this is how Black can keep the balance. Black can just give a perpetual check. This is a draw. Instead Kasparov played queen e3. Yeah, let's not forget that this was a blitz game. Probably already he was under a serious time trouble, and only then played king h7, but already the queen is not covering the f6 square, and h takes g7 check allowed Tal to win the game. At this point, at this point resignation followed. So this was a good game by Tal. Of course, there were some inaccuracies from both sides, but all in all, of course, this was a blitz game. That's natural. And Tal actually took his opponent into deep dark forest, right? Yeah. With a tricky pawn sacrifice, he managed to launch an attack, and relying on the fact that Kasparov failed to defend accurately, he won the game. In the end, a chess puzzle for you where the task is to win with the white pieces. As usual, we'll wait for your answer in the comment section. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in my next video. Take care.